Alrighty, Doc here from North America. It's Monday. TGIM. Thank goodness it's Monday. So, good morning, good afternoon, and good evening. Let's see where we're at here this morning. As I say, it's usually 8:30 a.m. in the United States. In this case now, it's 8:31 a.m. in the United States on the East Coast. And when we always look across the planet where finances kind of start, after they leave the American continent, Japan is 10:30 or 10:31 p.m. now in the evening. So they've had their first trading day already, and it's been put to bed. So let's take a look at it. You can see there the dollar right there on J4X again. Kind of stalled out just a little bit. You can see it's really tight right there. Over here on Chicago Quant, you see the same situation. There's the dollar index. It's pretty much unchanged from Friday. It's been in a buy now for going on a third week. And 3, there's 5, there's 3, there's 5. 11 days now in a daily buy. 11 days. So, let's get the chat line up there. So, that is, curious, I guess you could say. They're lifting the U.S. stock market a little bit. I see some firmness. So, there's Robin. There's Benny. Yo, Benny! Benny and the Jets. Dun, 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 dun. Maybe it sounds better in my head. Anyhow, hope you're all doing fine. Happy Monday. I agree, Robin. Happy Monday. Happy Monday to us. All right. Benny, let's check out the, where's that thing at? The British pound and the AUD. Let's see what, there it is right there. There it is. The second wen was a good, it made back and more than what the first wen did. And you can see they put it onto a little sell there on Friday. You're not supposed to take a short because we're in a weekly buy here. So it's just kind of like now it's trying to get back into the buy. You can see it's just minus 0. Oh, there it goes. It goes plus now. 0.00008. Hey, now 7. So it's just inching its way back up again. And maybe it'll go take out this high here if it closes in a buy. So looks good. How's it going, Doc? Doc is doing okay. No complaints. We got a lot of things done over the weekend. We try to use these weekends to get things done, that I want to get done during the week. And the markets and family and all kinds of things always pull me in different directions. And then I, fall back into the position again of Saturday, Sunday. Get things done, try to do things, so forth. Saturday's more of a day of rest, but we get things done on Saturday somewhere along the line. Plants don't know what rest is. So we got more plants in there. I can say this, that looks like the groundhog has found one part of the field. I'm going to have to, I just started putting the electric fence on. I put it up, now I'm going to turn it on. Let them get a little juice in them. That'll slow them down. So anyhow, all good here. Thank you, Benny. I hope everything's good with you. I think I'm going to have a sip of my tea. I'm just having so much fun already. Oh, that was good. All right. So you can see there's the second wen was a better wen. And let's get back to the dollar index itself. Unless you want to see something. If you want to see it, just shout it out. I'll take a look at it. But you can see here the dollar index has been moving up. Friday they pushed it down, and today they are like unchanged. I guess what we can say is the products. Ooh, dollar yen. Let's see what dollar yen's doing. I guess we can say, I can finish my thought on that too as we're going to dollar yen. I guess we can say is that there's a lot of sloppiness in this market. Wow, it looks, you know what? Look at that. It looks a lot like the way the GBP AUD is. And you can see it's been in a buy for 6 full days, not the 11. And it's been in a weekly buy for 6 weeks now. Very strong. Let's see how many weeks the GBP AUD was in a weekly buy. Just for curiosity. Ooh, oh my goodness. It's been in a buy for months. Look at that. It went into the buy in the last week of February, first week of March. Wow. That thing's been in a weekly buy for a long while. Interesting. Yeah, now there's the dollar yen again. It's kind of there's a lot of moving parts to the world's markets at this point, and I mean, not like as if there's been less over time, but because of the debt ceiling and having a government that's literally gone outlaw on us, combined all those things together, and the management of the government itself is really under suspicion. It's evidence is coming in left and right of criminality between the president and the vice president, and people in major positions in government, like the Justice Department. Like during the Nixon years, the Attorney General went to jail. Mitchell went to jail. There's now all the information has come in. It looks like Loretta, whatever her last name was, and that was the last one under Obama. And now this guy Garland looks like they could go to jail. They have all the evidence to put them in jail at this point. So it's really the fact that most of the media is not even talking about it. They don't put any time out at all. Not like 10 minutes or 2 hours. They put zero time on talking about it because they're trying to defend the administration. So you have a lot of strange things going on, and we were calling. I started saying this last week. We're in the Watergate years now. It's like Watergate 2, and it's the biggest crime in American history since the Teapot Dome scandal back in 1912 or 1913, something like that. So it makes the Watergate itself almost non-existent. And you got to imagine there was like 3 or 4 people that went to jail on that. So at least 2. I noticed the Attorney General went to jail, and 1 or 2 others. Halderman went to jail, I think, and Ehrlichman went to jail. It was a bunch of there was a bunch of people that were thrown for lying to Congress, that type of thing. So it's going to be. We're really seeing a lot of bumpiness in the marketplace, and at the same time we have quantitative easing. QE, where they just throw money upon money at anything and everything. I mean, just thank goodness the world went bankrupt. Because if the world was strong, we'd have problems. But since the world is pretty much bankrupt from the whole mess from the Congress and Barney Frank and the Democrat machine back then, the 2008 financial collapse, put Merrill Lynch out of business and put Bear Stearns out of business and put Lloyd's of London out of business, and it put Citibank. Well, Citibank is owned now by the Federal Reserve, but the stock has not rebounded since 2008. It's still down in the same area that it was down there when the whole economy crashed, or the financial system crashed, that is. So Lehman Brothers and Wachovia and Santander. I can keep on going. Bank of Scotland. It goes on and on. Was it USBC? I mean, it just goes on and on and on. All these companies out of business. I can't even believe Lloyd's of London is a shell of itself now. It's nothing. So these things blow my mind when I see that stuff. And when I say that out loud to a lot of people here, they're probably like, I don't know what this nutcase is saying. What's he talking about? Lloyd's of London is fine. Merrill Lynch is fine. Yeah, I hear you. Don't look behind the curtain. Just look up on the screen and watch the man speak. Exactly. Okay, so anyway, that's where we're at, and that's why we're in this sloppy state. With all the cash sloshing around and the Federal Reserve being able to throw money at anything and everything they want. Citadel, one of the largest hedge funds in the world, gets over $1 billion a night for free. And it's like that for dozens and dozens of hedge funds and brokerage houses. They get billions of dollars for free overnight, and it's just considered short term. But they've been doing it for a decade. But they just let them hold on to that money overnight. They just tell them the next day, "Oh, no problem. Keep it again, keep it again, keep it again, keep it again." And so after like 8 or 9 years, and you have $1 billion for free overnight, you can do all kinds of things to prop up the market. All right. Anyhow, that's where we're at, and that's why we look at the yen right now as that's what started this tirade. And you look at it and you go, "Wow, that's kind of surprising." That it's losing. As it's rising like this, it says basically is the dollar is strong. So when it's going down like this, the dollar is weak. When it's going up like this, the dollar is strong. And so it's like, wow, why is the dollar strong when we're supposedly the headache? We are the problem. It's because there's no other player out there that can take our position. That's the problem. We're stuck with it. We're stuck being the world reserve currency. It's not a good thing. Trust me, people. For 5 decades, I've been on the side of let's stop us from being the sole world reserve currency and share that burden with others. But no one's strong enough. And then we helped to create the euro, and the Germans and the French and Spain and all like that joined in, and they became the European Union, and they had a currency, the European unit, and we were all excited, and we thought this could do it. And then, gone. So would you think we will hit 140 anytime soon? Well, we're in a weekly buy and a daily buy. So yeah, it could. At this point, I'm surprised. I didn't think we were going to get past 36. I thought, okay, when it started to slide down, I thought, okay, things are back to normal. But all of a sudden now, look at this. It's gliding back up again. It's like, whoa, what happened here? I thought things had smoothed out. All those overnight lending, those swaps by the Federal Reserve to the National Swiss Bank and Japan and all that money being given out. Well, I thought, okay, they cleaned up the problem. But obviously they haven't cleaned up the problem, and it's leaking back into the marketplace. You can see it in the pairs trades. Let's take a look at the Swiss, too. Swiss is acting much weaker, I guess you could say, than I thought it was going to. I thought it was kind of cleaned up and over with, after that big slide down from the century mark. Let's see if we can get it up on the screen there. There's the century mark right there, and I thought, okay, good. Now, it's not as much in trouble as the yen, but the yen is definitely having its issues compared to the Swiss. They were marching along for a while. It was getting really weird watching the two of them march exactly against everybody else of the pairs. So now that's not that far off the low, and it's still below 90, which keeps it down over 10% over the 6-month high, which is nice. It says to me that Switzerland is in better shape, but it also tells us that Japan is not. And that's the problem, is that I thought that we had those messes cleaned up. So will it get to 40? It's just where's the high 4 days ago was 38.74. Friday's high was 38.73, and today's high is 138.43. Let's see if they go take out one of these highs over the next couple of days. And whatever's going on has not stopped so as much as I thought it had when the Federal Reserve did all these swaps with the National Bank of Switzerland and helped to bail out Swiss Bank was it which one is it? I forget which bank they bailed out at this point. But in the end result is I thought it was all cleaned up, and it looks like it is in Switzerland, but it doesn't look that way in the yen. So, and we're in buys, so as long as we're in buys and we're in a weekly buy, you can be concerned about 140 without a doubt. All right, from there, does that answer your question? I hope it does. I think I'll take a sip of my tea while I'm waiting. Lid back on. There we are. Okay, so from there we'll shoot over to the euro. You can see the euro, they bounced it up on Friday. It's holding that firmness today. It's been in a daily sell for, 11 days? 3, 6, 10. Yeah, 11 days. So it's just still in a daily sell. Been in a weekly sell going on now. We're starting a third week in the weekly sell. These lines are deep down below the manifold. There's a lot of pressure there. Really thought, I really thought that things were going to smooth out there too. At the same time, I really thought that they had resolved the issues. I don't know. There's probably more issues out there than I see, and I always trust the math more than I worry about the story. It's always fun to talk about the story, like I do. I go on my rampage about this or that, but it's the math that we always follow. In the end, the math is what's keeping us alive. So. All right, and then from there, let's go to, and let's put it up on there. Let's put the euro up on J4X too. Right there, look at that. All that selling. You can see the yellow is at 16 and change, and the green is at 24. So there's some strength trying to come in this morning, just like we see the strength right here. You see that little nibbling or buying going on. Selling dollars, buying the euro. All right, and then from there, we go over to the British pound. And the pound 3 days in a sell. And the weekly is just hanging on by the thin teeth of its, it's hanging in there like that. Look at the flat line. That's a weird one. We haven't seen anything like that in a while. Let's see. That's a real weird one. A couple of weeks of just hard, flat. We're going back to September of last year. That is kind of weird. Look at how that is. It's like someone turned a switch off or something. And it's just kind of like sitting there now. Be interesting to see if this keeps on moving back up and getting through the top side of the manifold and we get into a daily buy. And if we don't, obviously it looks like the next move will be a push down. Now, I'm not sure what issues people have with the pound, but obviously it's like as if they don't know what they want to do. It's that my green line there on the weekly is adhering to like literally a very tight situation. Okay. Let's go over to the Swiss itself. We were there just a few minutes ago, and it's gaining against the dollar, so that's good. It's showing some life. It's trying to get into a sell after 2+ weeks, and you can see the weekly is kind of firm there, and that's what I'm really shaking my head at. Also, is that why is it that firm? Why are you that firm? I like that. For someone that doesn't like the idea that the United States is alone in being the world reserve currency, it's always nice to try to hope that when we finally see strength in some of these pairs trades, maybe they get some real strength, really become somewhat dominant. It'd be nice because, we've got a Secretary of Treasury, we've got a Fed chairman, and we have a president that is so clueless, and people are just shaking their heads at this point. Like, what is up with these people? It took them a year and a half to admit that we had inflation. And all they kept on calling it is transitory for a year and a half. Transitory. It was so bad that someone had to wake up somebody in the People's Bank of China because they hadn't moved their currency. And when all the other currencies were getting pushed all over the place, the Chinese yuan was still like stuck in the mud, just sitting there. And then finally you could see one day, when the Fed chairman said, we got to do something about this inflation, then all of a sudden it joined in with the other currency pairs. So it's kind of interesting. It tells you that the People's Bank of China doesn't pay attention to anybody's currency because no one's really trading it. That's what the problem is. No one really trades the thing. So they get, it's kind of like the Maytag repairman. There was a TV commercial about a washing machine, and it was so good a machine that the Maytag repairman was always found sleeping somewhere because he never had to repair any of them. And so it's kind of like the same thing with the People's Bank of China. The currency doesn't move because no one's paying attention to it. It's oblivious to everybody else. So, but then the Chinese try to tell us it's going to be the next world reserve currency when they're like about the 6th largest economy in the world. The European Union is the 2nd largest economy in the world, but the media won't tell you that. They'll tell you that China is. So it's it's that strange situation. So in this case here, when we see the Swiss acting like this, we're like, yeah, maybe it'll get more legs, get some strength. You know, pairs trade strengthening against the dollar would be a very positive thing. Um, the dollar is just overvalued at this point, but it's only overvalued because there is no competitor. It's like they've let the wolves grow. There's no predator to the wolves, type of thing in the wilderness. All right, I guess we're wolves. From there, we did look at the yen with Benny, and you can see here it's added another 6 ticks. When we looked last time, it was 4 ticks actually. It was at 43 high. Now it's a 47 high, and now the high is actually 49. So it was 43 before. It's gone up 6 points since we looked at it like 7 minutes ago. So they're putting a little charge into that too at the same time. Ooh, righty. Now we'll go over to the Turkish lira, Euro Turkish lira. Whoa, look at that wild spike. Let's put it up on J4X and see if we can see the same wild spike. Right there. Yeah, I get that. Got that up. It's, well, no. What is that? That's Euro Turkish lira. They're showing a high of 21.5, and the United States are showing a high of 22.87. And you can see it's trying to get into a buy. Now they're both trading at the 21.51 area right now. So somebody got suckered into buying something way overpriced. And the elections are this week too. The elections will be Sunday, so that should be really interesting for us traders going into next Monday morning. We're going to be seeing, the excitement of the election. So we'll be able to. The currency could be really interesting, especially you can see here in the United States when they trade that product. It's really jumbly. See that? Some of these wild spikes. It's just a lack of liquidity at this point. And don't even look at the dollar one. The dollar euro, ugh. It's so illiquid, it's all over the place. All right. From there, where do we go from there? We go over to, I know what we do. We go over to the King Peso, the Mexican peso. We call it the King Peso since it is going to be the biggest and most powerful currency in the BRICS. Everybody talks about the BRICS. Every time they want to tell us about how they, want a competitor to the dollar. Look at that. It's getting beat up a little bit now the last 4 days. It's gone into a buy on Thursday of last week. You can see here the weekly is trying to jump up. We have the fast algorithm getting through the zero line today, and the slow is actually above the manifold of the negative side heading towards the zero line. So King Peso is losing against the dollar. I guess in my head I always think of it as, okay, the BRICS are losing against the dollar since this will be the most powerful and biggest percentage of the BRIC unit when they finally do put one together. The peso will be number 1, and then South African rand will be number 2, and then the Indian rupee will be number 3, and then from there it kind of there's about 20% left because that'll make up 75%, if not 80%, of the BRIC unit itself, just like the euro unit is. Or no, I'm sorry, the dollar index. The dollar index, the euro is 53% of the dollar index. And I'm assuming they'll do the same thing with the BRIC. They'll put it together in liquidity form. So that will make the Mexican peso the most powerful BRIC of them all. All right. From there, what else can we say about the quasi-BRIC? Just 4 days in a daily buy, showing strength and losing against the dollar. Surprise to me. All right. Now from there, we go over to two currencies that match up to, the commodities. Or in this case, we look at oil and Canadian, which has been steady and consistent, even with Mr. Trudeau up there doing weird things. All right, let's put it up on the screen here. There's the CAD. It's trapped in that triangle that we've been talking about. And you can see it's 3 days in a buy. And now the weekly is trying to penetrate. And look at the wildness of it. It's like a scissors action. The fast is jumping up through the manifold on the top. And that's because of it's so contracted too. And the slow is breaking down and heading for the bottom manifold. So it's like, as I was saying a few minutes ago, the world is upside down and not sure where it's going at this point. And that's what the issue is all about. When you have, like I said, the president, the secretary of treasurer, and the Federal Reserve chair not really aware of the marketplace in the dilemmas and the calamity and all that stuff. They if they're aware of it, they're not telling us, and they're saying the opposite of what we all see. But they know it, so I guess they know it somehow or another. Maybe they don't know it. Maybe they just don't care. Maybe that's what it is. They're just part of the political machine, and they just don't care. I think that's what it really comes down to. They got their own, and they don't care. So that's why we see things like this, where it's starting to get weirder and weirder. In this case here, the Canadian is trapped in that big triangle. And let's go over to crude oil. That's what we do, is we look at crude oil with the Canadian. And there she blows, West Texas Intermediate. It's like a triangle there on a shorter term basis when it comes to the body of the candles. And what else we got going? You got the green line 57, and we got the slow at 61. So it's a bearish signal going on through the lines. And the hinky is red. So, there's some pressure there. Now, we'll take a look at it through Chicago Quant. Right there. And there is the spot month of July. You can see doing the same thing, trying to get into a sell. And it's got a red dot, just like we have right here. And you can see the line is through the zero line. And you can see 61 and 57, as I said. So it's doing the same thing. It's breaking down. It's breaking down here too. Alrighty. Now from there, we go over to the South African Rand, which was a beautiful product up until December, until the government went into political calamity. And now it's just stuck. You can see here it's tried to put a bottom in here on the gold. There's gold. And we'll put South African Rand up on J4X. Right there. And you can see here it's trading, going after the 20 area, I guess you could say in a sense. It's at 1932. And the pressure is on this product. And gold is almost at, $2,000 an ounce. And this product is trading with a haircut. That's what we called on the old days of the trading floor. It's got a haircut going on. It should be trading in the 14s. It's trading in the 19s. And it just keeps on showing us this calamity. Let's see if we can show it to you. We'll move it over. When we labeled it a political calamity. Oh, that's not, we don't have it there. Let's put it up on here like this. There we are. Right there. Cancel that. Move this over like so. And go like that. And let's put the South African Rand in there like so. And those lines represent the political calamity right there. Where in that 2-day period it went from 16 and change to 18. And so we know there's a couple point haircut because of the politics. And the president refuses to resign, and the country has no recourse about that. So that's where we're at, just waiting for another election. So this poor thing is trapped into that where it can't really adjust because it's trapped in the political realm now. And so instead of it trading in the 14s, it's trading in the 19s. And how do I come up with the idea that it should be trading in the 14s? Because when we look at gold before the political noise right here at that box, it was trading at 17, and gold back in, let's see, where's that at? Gold back in November. Let's go find gold. We'll put that up on J4X. And there's gold. And let's go back and look at it in November. And so in November, right there, is that November? That's February. That is December. That's that odd system people were talking to me about following. That is November. Okay, so gold was trading at 1737. Okay, and gold has gone all the way up to like 2100, and the rand is going up, not down. So that tells us that there's about a 4-point to 5-point premium when you look at the dollar. These things worked together until the political turmoil right here. They worked together. In other words, when gold went up, South African gained against the dollar. I mean, it was like lockstep. Matter of fact, you could follow the currency, and the currency would lead you into a nice win no matter what gold was doing at the time. If you did it in the webinar, by the afternoon, it was in really great shape. Oh, what's this? Benny says Turkish lira. What about it? What about the Turkish lira? We can go back to it. Want me to go back to it? Sure. So yeah, I mean that's what the issue is. There's Turkish lira. It's trying to get into a buy, and they got the election coming up this week now, on Sunday. So we'll see how that plays out. And you can see the illiquidity here in the States with it. Over here on J4X, it looks a little bit smoother. Let's see if we can slide that in there. Right there. There's Euro Turkish lira. There we go. There it is. You can see it's, having issues there. It's trapped. We had a wild one there, but it's not showing that today. It just isn't showing what we're seeing here. This wild spike there. So, I just imagine, what Janos has told us is that when you're in the marketplace over there, you find they don't even set prices anymore. It says, negotiate. So it tells you what kind of dilemma they're in, that they can't even post prices on things. So it's tough times. Maybe the election will work out. It's hard to say. So hard to say. As you can see here in the States, we have government agencies that have basically done treasonous things trying to destroy president. So, the President Trump was abused by the FBI and the CIA and by the Justice Department. And now they have the proof. The report came out last Monday, and almost all the media in the United States is not saying one word about it, not even hear a thing about it. So you have 3 or 4 small companies talking about it, and then nobody else says it. No major newspapers are printing a word about it. Nothing. Will the lira improve? That's a big question. I've been trying to get a handle on the political thing. We'll see. The markets will tell us in the end. That's how it usually works. So, if the people believe, if the President Erdogan doesn't win, and if people believe that this new leadership will do things good, then it will do well. And if not, then it won't. That's what it comes down to. And the math will tell us before the story tells us. I'm sure it'll be some type of honeymoon. So, we'll see. If it wins, I don't see any reason for it to change. It should just keep on. They'll just find new ways to make new all-time highs, I would imagine. So, all right. So now, where should we go from here? Where was I at? Oh, there's Benny. Should I enter the market? Enter what market? If the current president wins, should I enter the market or stay away? I'd stay away. Unless you live there, there's no reason for you to get involved. Yeah, I just don't see it. There doesn't seem to be any. I mean, if you live in the European Union and you're along the regions bordering Turkey, that's the only reason you'd participate with the Turkish lira, you know? But as a speculator, I think the margins are too high, the options are too wild. You know, it's just they're not liquid. You know, so I think that's what the problem is. Does that make sense to you? I'm gonna have a sip of tea while you figure that out. All right. I've read it somewhere. I heard of if he wins, he might drop to 14, 15. How would they do that? I mean, the last time, I guess. Let's see if we can put it up on here. The last time a year ago, it was 21 going into 22. Let's see if we can find it here. What they did is the Turkish lira. There it is, right there. I guess it is. There it is. Turkish lira. See this spot right there? What happened was it was going up to 20, and he was trying to stop it. So what he did is they announced that they were going to give out free option puts to anybody who bought the currency, and the currency fell from 20 and change over a couple day period down to 12. Okay, and then we thought that was brilliant. We really did. I thought it was a brilliant move. And then as time went on, it seemed to like evaporate. And by March of that year, it was like we were back to 16. And then by June, going into the summer, we were up to 19 again. And so it lost it over a 6-month period because I guess they didn't give the puts away as they said they were going to do. So you can see here the currency now has parked itself up in the 20s and as high as 22. And I don't know what else they can do. Now, this strategy of giving away free puts was his son-in-law's idea back in 2016, but it didn't get any traction. But when the when the currency got so high, you know, they had to do something to slow it down, and that's what they did, and it did. It slowed it down for about 6 months. But, you know, here we are. You know, we're back to it again after 6 months. It was back into the 20s. So I don't know how they can get down from 20 to 10 because I don't think they have the reserve currency anymore to buy it. And, you know, maybe Russia will buy it. I don't know. You know, it's going to take some extraordinary support and help to get that currency down into the 10s. And him winning is not going to do it. Because if he could, he would do it now. I mean, he's on the ropes. He didn't get the majority 2 weeks ago. So he's already on the ropes. So I think if they could do something with the currency politically, I think they would have done it already. That's at least my opinion. Does that make any sense to you? Okay. All right, and did we finish off South African Rand? I think we did, right? So, you know, poor Rand is heading for 20, and gold is sitting up around 2,000. You know, it's at 1977, and the currency probably should be like, you know, 13 and a half, 14 and a half, you know, something like that in that area. It's just all the turmoil that's going on down there. Good. I try to take the math and try to figure out the story, cross-matching stories that are out there, and then watching the way the math acts. But the math is the key. It's the primer. The math tells us when something is real and when it isn't. Oh, I've had metals forever, so I don't sell it. There's no reason to sell it. So, yeah, I've been a fan of gold. Yeah, as far as I'm concerned, if you would have said to me, I've said this to a lot of people here, Benny, and that is, if you would have told me in 2007, before quantitative easing, and describe what we're looking at in the year 2015 or to 2020 or 2023, if you would have told me, Doc, this is what's going to be going on in those years, what we're seeing now, exactly. In other words, let's say we had a perfect view of the future. This person had a perfect view of the futures and said, Doc, this is going to happen. You're going to have this, you're going to have that, and you're going to have this. Where do you think gold should be? Where would you price gold? I would have said, well, it probably would have panicked to 10,000. It probably would have found a base or like I say, let's say would have probably sold down through the 5,000, headed for the 3, probably found a base in the $3,000 area, and would be trading right now around 5,500, 5,600, something like that. That would be my opinion, like double where it's at now. Okay. But no, we don't see that. And we do see it, oddly enough, in the back months. They are trading at all-time highs in the back months, way back months, like a year out, 2 years out, 3 years out, where they can't exercise it. But that's exactly what's going on there, and that is that the central bank has put a real they changed the rules who could exercise. They've removed almost all the physical gold out of the vaults at the COMEX exchanges, the COMEX vaults for the exchange, and so they control a lot of pricing, what they call paper gold, and they have paper warrants of gold instead of physical gold in a vault now. So, it's a very strange event going on. So there's no reason to sell metals. And anybody who sells metals, chances are it's going to be a higher product 5 or 10 years down. Well, 5 or 10 years down the road, we may have a responsible government here again very soon. And when you have a responsible government, in some ways it'll drift up. Other ways it will be stable. There are two different concepts of direction. Stable, meaning going sideways wherever you're at. In other words, not being volatile. And then drift up means obviously it's going to go up in value. So I wouldn't be surprised if we move higher from here, going into a new American government, and at the same time, it becomes more stable. In other words, it's not as active. It's much more real in price. Right now, I don't really find gold and silver being real in price. So, the only way I can describe it, it's like an emotion I'm trying to describe more than a strategic strategy, Does that make any sense, Ben? All right. From there, where do we go from there? Oh, let's go take a look at silver. We're in the metals complex at this point. So let's go take a look at silver. And there's the gold. As you can see, it's a little bit weaker today, and starting a second week of a weekly sell. There it is there. Same situation in a weekly sell. It did climb in a buy on Friday here on the silver. It's trying to move back down a little bit, but still in that buy. But then look at the price of it. It's at $24. Wow. And it really beat poor silver up all the time. Let's put it up on J4X. There it is right there. There's silver. And you can see it's, just kind of hanging out right underneath the $24 area. These lines people were talking about, they're like a Bollinger Band. We left them up there because somebody wanted to watch them. So we'll leave them up there for a couple more, like another week. See if we see any good mechanical insight from them. And you can see here, the Hinky Ashke is trying to turn green. Join in with the two greens right here. All right, from there, we go over to copper. Right there. And we always say here, when you look at copper, you're looking into the the Chinese government's situation. That's what it really comes down to. You can see here it's in a buy from this day. It went down, lost money, but it's in a weekly sell anyway, so you're not going to take the longs. You would take the short. Where's the short? There's no shorts yet. We haven't gotten a daily short. We've been in buys. So today it's trying, but again, we got a green and a red, so we're not getting the good clean signal. It is choppy. It is choppy. And we'll put a little red line up there just to emphasize that, how choppy it is up top. But it's tomorrow's business, as they would say in the hedge fund universe. Not today's, tomorrow's. All right. And then from there, we go over to platinum. See what platinum's up to. Right there. There's platinum. Now, platinum, that's interesting. That doesn't look right. What's up with that malfunction? Let's see if we can change the input to the NYMEX and see if it straightens that out. Because obviously we had it in a buy there on Friday. NYMEX. NYMEX. Electronic. Let's see if that does it. Yeah. Okay. So what is that? That's today. Let's open up the chart from Friday, just to get a flavor of what's going on here. Yeah. See, there's Friday, and we closed in a daily buy on Friday. Let's go over to the exchange itself. Let me take a look at the chart. See if we can straighten that out. What's that? The July contract. There we are. Yeah, so that makes sense. That's got a wrong high and low and close. We'll have to fix that, but it's in a buy at this point. And so it's still holding up into a buy today too at the same time. So it's in a buy. Let's move that out of the way. I guess what it is this is the buy there, this is the sell there, and then it went back into the buy here, and we'll fix this one. So it's showing some strength, but we are in a weekly sell. So it's it's a second week on that weekly sell, and it's with gold and silver at this point. All right, and we will repair that, and then from there we go over to, let's see, let me just open that and fix that at the same time. Okay, so then from there we go over to the energy sector. That's what it is. We go to the energy sector, and there's the front month. July now is the front month, and you can see it's a little pressure on it today. It was down lower. It's kind of coming back. You can see the weekly is trying to lift, and we're seeing that type of action when it comes to the energy sector. It's trying to get some life in it. So far it's been kind of sloppy about it all, but it is trying, and that's the interesting thing, is that I am amazed that oil doesn't go higher. Just because of the pressures on it. It does surprise me. Let me just check the chat line again and make sure that nothing. Let's see. Okay, there we are. Let's go to the chat line again. Where's that chat line? There it is. No one has said anything. Okay, good. So, from the, let's put Brent up on J4X. There it is, Brent, trading in the $75 area. And what else can we say about the energy sector? I know that the back months have gotten tighter, which is pretty cool, in the sense that it was a real surprise to see that they had widened to begin with. I guess there was a lot of demand. So here's September contract. You see it's trying to get up plus, but it's still minus underneath here. And it's flirting with its weekly the back month, which makes sense. So it's at 71.59, and the front month is at 72. So there's a 41 cent. Now on Friday, when it was the contract expiring, it got down to about 18-20 cents. So the back months were catching up, which is kind of interesting. Would you like to see the euro again? Sure. Let's see. I just want to do this. Just want to refresh this real quick. Let's do this. We'll go over to the euro. And there's the euro again. It's a little up again from Friday, and Friday it was up, but we're still in a weekly sell and a daily sell for 11 days. So the pressure has been on that product. They're not exactly letting it go. Like I said, there's a lot of odd situations going on. Like the cryptos, I'm really surprised the cryptos are not stronger than what you would think. That they've been leading this market for a while. All of a sudden now, they've stopped leading the equity markets. And when I say a while, I'm talking about like, I don't know, like the last 9 months, they've been leading the equity markets. So, now the euro, I don't see much more than what we already see there. Let's put it up on J4X again. Yeah, look at that. Weekly sell, daily sell, and then here, right there. Lots of red, yellow line 16. See, it's trying to lift up, just like we're turning up right here with the green. It's trying to lift up. This is through that. So it's showing some buying going on there. All right, now where do we go from platinum? Oh, no, that's oil. Close. Cancel. Cancel. So from there we go to natural gas. And there's the natural gas right there. We've moved to the July contract there. Let's put it up on J4X. Right there, natural gas. And we did see some positive last week. We saw that the energy company down in Spain was down in the 26s. That's a good sign. That's a real good sign. We want to see more of that. Like to see it down into the 22s. Like to see it down in the 12s. It's crazy what Europe is doing. Is paying. You can see here the states were $2.61. Now this is the contract that's getting ready to expire tomorrow. I think it is. Is it tomorrow? I think it might be like Wednesday or Thursday of this week. This thing expires. So this is still the June contract. Okay, and they expire a month early. So in other words, crude oil now, the June contract expired today. And so we just have the July now is the front month. They do a month ahead because of delivery issues, because they have physical delivery. So they have to give 3 to 5 days to take the delivery, and then from there, then they have like another week or so. You can do exchange of certificates of barges of oil or heating oil, or and so there's a lot of moving parts to it. It can go on for about 2 weeks. So they expire. The contract expires almost like 10 days before the month ends. It expires, and they move on to the next month. Now let's take a look at the company down in Spain. And we saw last week it moved from the 28s down to the 26s. So we have our fingers crossed, hoping that it drops even more today. Let's be the 25s. If I had a vote, I'd say let's make it the 25s. I feel sorry for Europe and the cost of this energy. It's like 12 times more than here in the States. There it is. Oh, come on. It's a $26.95 bid at 27. Can't you just be a 26 offer? Can't you just fall down to 25? You can see that pressure on it like that, which is really fantastic. It was in the 28s 4 days ago, trading-wise. You can see here the yellow's at 12, and the green is at 14. It's trying to perk its head back up again. So whatever drove it down for a couple dollars is starting to fade, I guess you could say. It's evaporating. All right, traders, we're out of here. We're going to let you see, I'll show you a picture of the S&P 500 for those that are fascinated by it, and watch it because it's a good tool. It's in a daily and weekly buy. And we'll shift over to the intraday right there. You can see it there. It has run up to 209. It's starting to back off a little bit. And this is Bitcoin here on the right. You can see it's trying to flirt with a sell-off again, pushing more pressure on the downside. So it went into the buy here, and it kind of perked up by about 50 to 100 points, back and forth, and now it seems to be breaking down. So this is Doc from North America, seeing you all tomorrow on Tuesday. So happy trails to you until we meet again. Doc, 30 before you go. No problem. Here is the Dow 30. Happy trails to you, to all our trading friends. Later, traders. See right there. It's still in a weekly sell. This is the third week, but it's in a daily buy for 4 days, and it's trying to lift up. And that's the Dow Jones Industrial Average. Later. Put likes on the video. Okay, I'll put a like on the video. There I go. Like this video. I do. All right. Thank you, Janos. We will catch you all later. Same time, same channel.